Hopefully, haven't missed me while I was gone. Again, welcome back. Glad y'all are joining me. For those of you that are new to this podcast, I'm going to silence, pull a little silencer on, and then also keep the phone up so I can see any messages so I don't miss them. Thank y'all for joining me. I am back from a much greatly needed vacation. And today we are absolutely digging into a topic that I was going to tap into. And I realize I may have mistitled it on one thing, but the way to being the strong one. So today on the Greater Self podcast, what we're going to be exploring is what does it actually cost you to be the strong one? And like, what does all that stuff mean? How does it go? What, where, why? And I have this mini feeling I probably should have wiped one of the cameras, but here we are. So we're still getting into it and doing the things. So again, welcome back, Greater Self Podcast. I appreciate y'all being on here with me today. And the couple of weeks that I took my time off, we'll talk about that next week. But before we get into that, which is really the whole reason why I even needed to take the time off, let's get real specific about this strong friend and what that really means. This month, and I believe today, marks the last day of my Strong Friend Challenge. So if you joined me earlier in the month or at the end of last month, you would have known that we were jumping into a challenge. It was happening in my Instagram channel. So if you joined us, you got a nice little reminder daily to choose one of the three things, if anything, but even just showing up for that and the option of a journal prompt to explore how can I care for myself? How can I show up for me? How can I make things a thing? And if you did join us, then you already know what it was, how those little lovely daily reminders went. There's definitely going to be some things for this upcoming month of what we're going to do now that we started that process of having those reminders, what they look like, how to move forward with them, as well as I'm going to give you an open invitation to make some life shifts and some things happen. And coming straight back from being on vacation and meeting with people and doing networking off top, like I'm a little fired up and rejuvenated, just a smid bit. So let's get into today's topic because this is a conversation I feel privileged and honored to have such dope friends in the same field that I'm in, as well as others that are able to recognize the intensity of the word strong and how it may seem like this is a conversation that's probably been overdue to be had and should be talked about more frequently. But being called strong is actually not the compliment that someone might think it should be. And because historically you imagine like, oh, someone's strong, like they have muscles. But did anybody ever take the time to assess why? Why does this person have muscles? Why are they so strong? Why do they continue to be so strong? And then how does that really look and show up for them when they are showing up for other people? Having this conversation earlier with a friend before, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make sure to talk about this tonight when I do jump on. Strong, telling a woman specifically she's strong is absolutely not a compliment. To some extent, telling a man that has dealt with a whole bunch of stuff and had to overcome a whole lot of things is the same disrespectful, not compliment too. So let me get into it just a little bit more. There's an illusion of strength being considered a compliment, but you don't know what someone had to do to become as strong as they are, what they're withstanding or holding on to or going through in the moment to maintain that illusion of strength that you see, experience, or wanted to praise, honor, call out, give someone their flowers for, because this person's probably always handling the stuff, doing the things, shows up. If you call, they come. And while that is a strong character feature, that doesn't mean that that's how they always wanted to be, but they 100% definitely stepped into the role, picked it up, and kept it moving. So I understand when someone says like, oh yeah, you're being strong and you have to be strong for your family, especially when families are experiencing some stuff collectively together. So a loss of a family member, someone maybe even like having some different challenges or struggles, and like the family's coming together. That's pretty dope if you have a family that can come together for you when you are in need of help and support. But there's a whole lot of other folks that not only do they not have that, not even their chosen families can do that for them. They're literally doing it by themselves. And they are trying their damnedest to like survive and keep going, because chances are that strong person that you want to give a compliment to by calling strong, they're not strong because they wanted to be. They also just didn't have any other choice but to do anything else but be strong. So acknowledging what they've endured, what they've carried, and what they've survived, maybe you should say that. Just a consideration, instead of saying, man, it must be nice to be this strong. That's actually really painful, exhausting, and tiring. And heaven forbid you're also in a position where you're responsible for a lot of other people's lives in a very significant way. So I'll just use myself for an example as a therapist, and I'll try my best to not keep hitting the microphone. But as a therapist, I have the responsibility, every person on my caseload, to make sure minimally they stay alive. After that, how can we make it work for them? How can it be good? How can it be great? So the idea that, oh, all you do is sit there and talk to people all day long, and it shouldn't be that complicated. It should be easy. You should be happy. That's all you have to do. What I'm talking about with people, predominantly my caseload, are all the people that are super strong. And they're all the people that are making sure to show up for everyone else. They're making sure everybody's got what they need, that they have an opportunity to enjoy life and the pleasures of having someone like them in their lives. While in the interim, they're breaking down and barely making it through, but all you see is how they show up and come through for you and don't ask you for a damn thing. I take a little mini break. Imagine being the person that has to hold the space for those people. And clearly, I don't see just one person in a day. I see lots of people. And I do so because I built up the capacity to be, quote unquote, that strong to do it. That unfortunately, being that strong has created this illusion, especially for people around me and folks that get to meet me brand new and didn't know who I was before, what I may or may not have gone through, things that I have survived, and assume, well, if you can handle all of that, you could probably handle whatever nonsense or bullshit I want to throw out there, especially in the dating world. But we won't go specifically into those details. But imagine knowing that somebody can handle and hold all these things, how easy it would be for that same person to want to show up, especially in a more closer, intimate relationship, and want to be able to do things for you, for the people you care about. And how you do that, you keep showing up, you overpour into, you give to all the folks, you give to that particular person. And it's not very often until you have a whole bona fide fucking meltdown that somebody is able to notice, oh shoot, she has feelings. She like cares. Why does it seem like her feelings are so big and so intense and so everything? And it's like, did you check on that person to see before they got to that point the subtle hints and invitations and requests that they may have had for, can you help me? Because asking for help is not an effortless thing to do by any means for a lot of folks in the world. The idea of asking, can someone else help me? And allowing themselves to be vulnerable for someone to not only say no, but to say yes, not show up, to say yes, make it more intense and worse, and then still have to do still have to do all the ish anyways. That's a very hard space to be in, and to hold that space for lots of people pending your profession. I would say someone who's a nurse, someone who's a doctor, someone who's a dentist, like people that are providing services for other people tend to be folks that show up as a strong friend in their real lives outside of their professions. So not only are they showing up in their careers and they're showing up for the people they serve, but then they come home and they're realizing they're showing up the same way, like they didn't just do 300 literally all day long to make sure that they provided the level of care that they would love for someone else to provide, probably even just 50% of that. In the midst of this person being able to hold that space professionally and personally, it looks like they're cool, they're fine, on paper, winning, killing it. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing big things. And unfortunately, there's some haters that'll say, oh, you got a little business, oh, you got a little this. disrespectfully F everybody that's ever told you you got a little something. Again, other topics we can definitely get into because we're sticking to talking about what it's like to be called strong and how not helpful, supportive, or respectful it really is. This person on the other side, and you may be the strong friend, and in this moment I hope you also recognize another person that's probably that too. Y'all are probably all friends and thinking, dang, so this is what we be going through. Yes, it is. You show up for everybody else, you continue to function, your body's tired, your heart gets heavy after a while, your mind gets overwhelmed. You have these nice little loops that create, I don't know, a little anxiety, a little depression, however those things are going. And then someone, when you're probably at the point of like screaming and losing your whole entire everything, says, "You are so strong. I would love to be like you when I grow up." And in your mind, you're like, historically, we've been taught, "Oh, that's a compliment. Thank you." And I would love for you to now look at it and say, damn, so I'm over functioning and over committing that freaking hard that I present as being strong, which means I'm doing things that other people don't even think any one person should be doing on a regular basis. And this is my regular baseline. My putting in 12, 14, 15 hours is regular for me. The average person is putting in like 4 or 6 at a job and like calling it a day if you even work, because maybe you have the luxury of having someone else that supports you and doesn't require you to go to a physical job. But even that person that may not be clocking in somewhere, taking care of a household is not a game either. So most of these strong friends that I am speaking of not only are showing up professionally, but personally they're showing up and handling their business in their households as the manager of their household while still presenting well put together. They comb their hair, they brush their teeth, they wash their bodies. So you're getting this beautiful presentation that feels great and is awesome for you. This person is probably over here like, I got one more time for somebody else to call me strong. And this is why I'm saying this. Don't be the one person the last time the straw that broke their back, because choosing versus being forced into a strength are not the same. If you chose to be strong, like if you go to the gym and you lift heavy and, or like I used to do before, things happen. When you do that, you're choosing to be strong. You're choosing to strengthen your body intentionally in a very specific way. When you have had to show up as a strong friend, as a strong person for your family and all the things, you didn't wake up and decide this is what I want to do. You saw a need that needed to be fulfilled, stepped into the role, and started doing it. And every time a crisis pops up or a thing happens, all that happened was you got better and faster at how much you can tolerate so someone else doesn't have to, how much faster and quicker and better it can be for another person. If you just continue to keep showing up for them, one day they're going to be able to not only run it back and repay it to you, but they're going to be able to flourish, that you may not have to be their strong support. And unfortunately, we create these scenarios where we're enabling people to never reach their full potential and actually dig into their personal efficacy, not so much strength, but dig into the greatest version of themselves so they can show up, so you get to enjoy seeing your labor or work that went into those relationships, those places. But you get to take a breath and take a break. The very first time that I actually bothered to leave the country as far as I had gone, which was to Bali this month and several years ago, leaving was harder than it seemed like it should have been. Did I travel and go places before that? Absolutely. However, being able to leave and be intentional about detaching from every single person that I love, like, and care about, to include my business at the time. I think I might have even still had a job at the time. Like all of those things all at once, like this was maybe like literally 3 or 4 years ago. The fear that the whole entire world would come crashing down if I wasn't available to put out every single fire that was possible was super hard and humbling to actually receive. Because I went, nobody died, everybody was fine. And it was me that kept putting my face, neck, or whatever in the space to believe that I had to keep doing all these things and I had to continue to be strong. kind of running back to earlier this month, my birthday just passed, and I absolutely use, especially since my birthday is the beginning of a new quarter in a calendar year, and technically around about when the real new year starts, however you want to look at it. This is a time that I really take into consideration and account who showed up, who didn't, what still feels aligned, what doesn't, what do I want to take into this next year of my life. And by the end of it, this specific year, on my actual birthday, because it happened to be also a holiday in Easter, I'm like, great. So me and Jesus will rise together on this particular day. At the end of that day, after having an amazing 2 days, so please don't get it twisted. I'm still celebrating. So if you want to do something for your girl now that I'm back, I'm available. However, I did plan 2 days, and believe it or not, as much as I enjoy being able to celebrate and do things with people, I am also simultaneously thinking I still have to do all the things I have to do for my household, for my clients, for my friends and family that I normally do, plus things for myself. And I got to pack and prepare to leave the country within a couple of days and make sure like anything that I can take care of, I take care of it before I go. So planning and inviting people and asking people to show up for me and like spend time with me and respectfully spend their time and their money in the place that I want to go to, meaning ideally, hopefully they want to be there too. Because if they don't, respectfully let me know I don't want to go do those things, but we can or will do something later. Cool, not a problem. I said 2 days, having the best life ever. The people that showed up that were supposed to be there showed up, and they were. We're celebrating, we're having fun, and the biggest fun for me still, looking at the strong friend component, is really seeing other people have a great time. So despite me wanting to have people come celebrate me, it's really because I want to make sure that I got a chance to see people that I care about, love, and like enjoying themselves. And if they get to pour into me in the interim, that's even better. Now, that planning on the back end, me sending a message, answering questions, the follow up, all the things, that is probably the most stressful thing in the world for me. And what I could have done was ask someone to help me. And I have mentioned to different people, I was like, next year, when I say I want to do, my world tour of events and different things, remind me to make it a simpler process that I can send it out in one easy way. People can respond, all the info's there, and I don't have to follow up or recognize who I forgot, because every year I still manage to forget people that I would have loved to have had come and spend time with me. And I don't remember or realize it until after the fact, because I am still human. But being that strong friend and trying to do all the things and take care of all the stuff and make sure nobody else is inconvenienced puts me in a space where, yep, I forget people every year. And it's not that I forgot the person, it's that maybe I actually enjoyed one-on-one time with them or whatever the other stuff is. So I apologize to those that I did not get to follow up with or invite, or the people that didn't get to show up for the reasons that were out of their control, because other people's lives do go on. That on my actual birthday, by the time the day ended, based on travel plans and things that needed to happen, I was actually by myself. And I love being by myself. On my birthday, I don't know that I necessarily have planned for that to be how it was going to be, but that's how it went this year. And noticing the who showed up, who didn't show up, I definitely grieved the version of me and who I was last year, and the level of strength that I chose to maintain and carry that allowed other people to not notice that even possibly happened or was a thing that was available to happen. Because of that, being that strong friend, what I did curate and cultivate is that people didn't know. The folks that did show up got to enjoy, and we had fun. We celebrated. They loved on me. I loved the love. I got to look nice and do all the things. And I love that everybody else looked so beautiful inside and outside and really did want to be there. There was a difference that I was going to make a point of stating how women show up for strong friends or women versus how men show up. And instead of pointing out all those specific differences, what I will say is that when you have good people in your life, the type of relationship and connection that you have with them will dictate the type of relationship that you have with them. As in, if that person has the capacity to love themselves fully, recognize when they need to heal and take care of themselves, they will come to you and in your life in that same form or fashion. This could be a friend from 50 million years ago. This could be a new friend that you just met, and they met an evolved version of you that allowed them to see this person is strong, but they're not because you guys are on the same wavelength. You are, um, what is it? You guys are choosing to evolve and be better versions of yourself on a daily basis. Those newer folks sometimes are much more easy and effortless to notice that this person's evolution has caused them to have to do a lot of things by themselves and have a lot of grief and a lot of endings that don't always happen because you wanted them to, but in order to actually get to where you're going to next, there was no way to maintain those connections in the same way, if at all. There was no way to keep showing up the way you always used to because it doesn't afford you the opportunity to actually get to where you're going to next. Those folks that can still show up for you and acknowledge that they see you and not call you strong, but ask, instead of being strong, how can I support you? How can I show up for you? Because you've always shown up for me, or since having met you, the way you show up has been so helpful. I want to reciprocate back to you what I get from you just by you being who you are. The hard work for the strong, for us lovely strong friends, is to receive it. And receive it when you're able to notice the difference of someone asking to support you from genuine care and desire to see you win versus someone asking to do something for you that you may have a favor that they owe you in their pocket now. That they're looking at, how can I use the fact that you will feel compelled to do something more and like you do need to show up, that I'm not going to have to worry too hard about when I'm in a bind or in a pinch, because now you're going to come through because I did that thing for you that made your life so much better that one particular day, that in a couple of days when I don't fuck with you and I don't talk to you and I don't want nothing from you because maybe I'm getting my needs met somewhere else through friends, family, whatever the case, you are not going to reach out to me and ask me for anything because you have already received a favor from me. You've already received some support. So you're going to thug it out and take care of it and handle it like you've always been. And then when I'm ready and I have time, space, and availability, I'm going to reach out to you and you're going to feel like you owe me. These are the loops and cycles that we can easily get into in our relationships and connections. And not because some people are horrible, bad people. Some are. Maybe they suck. Their whole entire existence sucks. Others may just notice, if you offer, why wouldn't they know how to receive better than you do? And as a strong friend, you haven't learned to receive. And they're like, I've never not known how to receive. So being able to show up is an honor. Learning or making this shift into, how do I support someone that goes hard in the paint to support me and anybody that they come in contact with, regardless of what has happened? You give people an opportunity to learn how to be a better version of themselves as you redefine the definition of strong by allowing people to support you, by allowing folks to show up for you differently, by recognizing the people that haven't been able to show up the same way you show up for them and give them that space to go take how they show up somewhere else where it's better received, better reciprocated. And maybe if that's what they're on, that's cool. They're great and amazing, but maybe not great and amazing for you. Every time they say, I thought you were okay, I thought you'd be all right, so I didn't bother you, just remember that may be true. And there's a space for you to work on. Did I ask for help? Did I accept the support when they asked if they could show up for me? And if those things happen, then okay, you know what it is. And if you didn't, now you have to do the work for you too. So being called strong doesn't actually compliment a thing. It points out an area of growth where you get to be a better version of yourself, where you get to stop holding space when you don't have space to hold it, where you get to stop pouring out from fumes and giving people dope ass fumes, but in the interim, you are dehydrating away at a rapid pace. You are like not even going to be here shortly. And even that is way better than maybe what someone else has to offer. But I challenge you in breaking this pattern, when someone calls you strong, to ask them, you could choose to even say thank you. Like, you know what? Thank you for seeing me, but do you see what it takes for me to be so strong? And if they're able to give you an answer and say yes, and then y'all have a great dialogue, cool, great, keep it going. But if they're like, what are you talking about? You now have an opportunity to educate somebody on what it's like to be perceived as strong and to have to be strong when you did not have a desire to, but also were not willing to in life, or not still show up in the ways that you said you would because of the commitments you made to yourself and the integrity you have to be either a person of your word or evolving to become a person of your word. So none of us are perfect. I say stuff, I forget stuff. I may blatantly present as, oh, she lied. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't still try to be a better person. Hence, just because that strong person may have thought they were good and cool and okay, doesn't mean that it might not change later. It doesn't mean that you don't have the opportunity to choose to you can choose to show up for them, and you can choose to show up for yourself by allowing people to show up for you. The next time a person says you're strong, feel free and comfortable to let them know how you would love to not overfunction, overproduce, over show up, and would greatly appreciate them extending some of their strength, some of their hospitality, some of their support your way, so that you can either one, maintain that image that they found to be great, if it's important to you to, and even look at that, like how are you being strong because it's more important to you to feel like you can be needed and useful by being strong, or would you like to actually enjoy life on your terms and do great things for other people as well as do great things for yourself? Let's start shifting this, redefining this definition of what strong is and how it shows up. So not only can you relieve your strong ass shoulders and back that you done built up from being a strong friend, but you allow other people to show up for you and exercise some muscles that maybe they don't get to use very often too. If by chance any of this kind of resonated with you, and I realize I just been talking away out here getting a little things that come up when you put too much chapstick on but not enough hydration, hence going on fumes. If any of this resonated, I would challenge you and wonder, how often are you showing up and pretending strong, and how often are you being strong enough to say, I'm not about to do this because I don't have the time, energy, desire, capacity, or attention to do it. So you can actually use your strength and energy towards things that you would like to explore, experience, and do. If you aren't doing that, I'd love to see what would it be like to start now? What would it be like to tag a friend, share with them, like, hey, let's start redefining what strong means and stop complimenting people, saying they're strong, and saying, I see how much you had to endure. I see what you've had to work through. I see how you've overcome these things. I see you, and I would love to be a part of helping you continue what you would like to do with your life in a way that's supportive to you. Instead of saying, man, you strong, you got this, tap on the shoulder, go on ahead and get you some more. Let's start to shift this narrative. And strong friends, start calling people out like you said you would help. Are you helping or no? And if not, cool, keep it moving. We don't even have to use any energy there. There's no need to make it personal. That person is hopefully exercising their boundaries and recognizing what they don't have the capacity for, so they don't put you in a position where they're not going to be able to show up for you fully. Now, with that being said, this doesn't mean like you do tit for tat now, and whoever don't show up for you, you don't show up for them. But don't play yourself and not pretend like this isn't a great way to start having a conversation about what are the dynamics of our friendship and relationship. Like I said, speaking to a friend earlier today, and we discussed how, yeah, being called strong is disrespectful as hell. I don't like it. We also renegotiated the subscription or boundaries of our friendship and connection. I was like, X, Y, and Z, but because I fuck with you, I fuck with you. So let's make sure that we do show up for each other in any way that we can when we have the capacity, when we're holding a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So with that being said, since I didn't even share none of the dope stuff that happened while I was away, I'll definitely share a little bit more about that next week and talk about the benefits of being the strong friend and taking time away, what we're going to do next now that this challenge has closed out, and how you can be a part of it and come into my world if you haven't already been in here and start getting access to more support and more ways to not have to keep showing up and being the strong friend at your own detriment, and how you can allow other people to start showing up for you too. I want to thank y'all. Like I said, next week we'll be tapping into, so what is how is it beneficial to take time away and leave from your daily things that you always do, go be in another place, be around different people, and be very intentional about maybe not engaging what you normally do, so you can come back and 100% appreciate stuff that you maybe have taken for granted, that's caused someone else to be a strong friend that you didn't even realize you were actively participating in. And look at, so okay, in my role and version of being strong, how do I want to show up differently, that my strength doesn't come from my own pain, that my strength gets to come from a collective building and foundation of other people that are not only able to support too, but I'm able to support them back, and we actually are able to grow and evolve together. With that, because it is a nice, lovely Taco Tuesday and a Freedom Tea Talk, I'm absolutely about to jump off of here, grab some food, still do some yoga later, and there's even more updates coming on what you guys can and cannot expect in regards to yoga too. So many revelations came from going away. Can't wait to share them with y'all. Do feel free to look at the stories, check out the things, and when there's opportunities to meet in person, make sure you're one of those people that shows up for it. Like whether it's the IE or LA, like Pasadena, whatever city it is, make sure you show up. And again, tag, like this, share it with somebody, tell somebody. This could be your apology forward to a person you've consistently told, oh, you're so strong. Send them this podcast episode and let them know, I see you, I feel you, and I am absolutely interested in being and doing better for you. And that is, of course, right after you say it to yourself first. So thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all again shortly. Have a good evening.